From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 6, streaming now.
It may take, for some patients, months, but for some patients, years, if they're ever able to recover to the level of independence they had before they got critically ill.
And laid out a plan for a very safe event this year and presented that plan to the health department, and thankfully that plan was approved.
The Thanksgiving Drumstick Dash race is still running this year. The safety plan in place, which will allow runners to continue with this beloved tradition.
A proposal that could change how folks give to the homeless in Indianapolis. I have that story coming up next.
Good evening. I'm Amanda Starr-Antino.
And I'm Mark Mullins. Tonight, as WRTV continues to track how the latest surge of coronavirus is developing here, we're sorting through new data and also trying to separate fact from fiction.
Today's data shows over 6,100 new cases and 60 new deaths of Hoosiers with COVID-19. And while hospitalizations for the virus are still at their highest point since the start of the pandemic, statewide numbers show ICU beds have not run out yet. And we are working with local hospitals like Community and IU Health to see what their capacities look like right now.
Well, the State Department of Health releases important county metrics every Wednesday, and the amount of Indiana counties that have been bumped up to a red status has more than doubled in the last week, as you see there. So that means stricter limitations for those areas. To give you a comparison, this is the previously most recent data released on the 11th. It showed 9 counties in the red versus this week's numbers, where we've climbed to 21 counties in the red status. Under new statewide restrictions, different categories have different limits on the amount of people allowed in social gatherings. Orange allows no more than 50 and red is 25.
As more people are infected with and recover from COVID-19, some are experiencing lingering symptoms. People who were hospitalized sometimes needing rehabilitation and further assistance following that. Our Alyssa Donovan explains the long-term impacts of COVID-19 that some patients are still dealing with months after their initial infection.
While many people infected with coronavirus experience just a few weeks of symptoms, there are some people who are not as lucky. Some patients experience months worth of symptoms and still can't return to their normal life.
Pulmonary critical care doctor Sikandar Khan has worked with patients who were treated in the intensive care unit for COVID-19, then sent to a rehab center before finally returning home.
A lot of them, even 3 months after leaving the hospital or leaving rehab, are still facing a lot of day-to-day challenges in their health.
Recognizing lingering symptoms in patients, IU Health opened the ICU Survivor Center in June, a clinic for long-term COVID-19 patients.
So we can continue to help them for the 1 or 2 years or even longer that it takes to really get back to how they were before they got critically ill.
Dr. Khan says about 60% of patients they've seen complain about quality of life problems months after having coronavirus. 40% are still experiencing fatigue and stamina issues. And many patients are also developing mental health problems like new depression, new anxiety, or PTSD symptoms. Some are also having trouble with memory and thinking.
For our younger patients in particular, hair loss has been very concerning. Again, about 60% of our patients have had a lot of hair loss after surviving the ICU.
A symptom that Dr. Khan says is related to the initial inflammation during the infection, and the body will recover from in time. However, certain impacts on patients will be lifelong.
For things where the lungs have become scarred, that is usually permanent. If they've had injury to organs, which causes scarring and permanent damage, we don't think that will completely go away.
Leaving those hit hardest by the virus to live a life that will never return to normal. I'm Alyssa Donovan, WRTV.
Doctors say the months to years-long recovery from COVID-19 for some patients should serve as an eye-opening reminder of why wearing masks and social distancing is so important.
Today in the governor's weekly update, state leaders reiterated the importance of keeping your distance from people not in your household this holiday season. State Health Commissioner Dr. Christina Bach says Indiana's positivity rate is still going up. And while this may mean some seats are empty from people who couldn't travel to Thanksgiving dinner, she said to keep this in mind.
There will be more than 5,000 empty seats at Indiana Thanksgiving tables this year because of COVID-19. Let's all make those hard choices to prevent that number from growing so that Hoosier families are able to celebrate for years to come.
To date, at least 4,830 Hoosiers have died with COVID-19, and each day brings dozens of more reported deaths. Over half of those victims were 80 or older. The traditional drumstick dash is still on this Thanksgiving. The race, held every Thanksgiving morning in downtown Indy for the past 18 years, is moving forward despite the rising COVID-19 cases. WRTV's Stephanie Wade caught up with race organizers to learn about their safety plan for the holiday event.
There's such a tradition, not just for the running community, but I think for the Indianapolis community.
The race will go on this year, a Thanksgiving morning tradition for the city of Indianapolis, put on by Wheeler Mission.
So it's more critical this year to have this event because it does raise critical funds for those experiencing homelessness. And our numbers are real. We're seeing high numbers already early in the season.
The Drumstick Dash was started 18 years ago to raise awareness and funds for services to the homeless. Because of the pandemic, the executive vice president of advancement tells me they've had to expand their shelter space. The city's opened 2 hotels to serve as overflow shelters during the winter, and Wheeler Mission has had to hire additional staff to manage them. But still, even in these difficult times,
people might be wondering, how can you socially distance when you're at a race?
Yeah, and it's a good question. Like I said, we were marking off on the start line areas that we feel people should stand, and we'll have constant announcements from the stage and from the jumbotron to maintain social distance.
Race leaders ensure they've taken the proper safety precautions so everyone feels safe this year. They had to submit a risk mitigation plan to the health department and worked with them to get approval. Grown to become the 50th largest running event in the country, the race typically registers about 20,000 people a year.
This year we are reducing it. We will only have 20% capacity at our course this year. So we have, and again, different this year is 2 start times, an 8 o'clock and a 10 o'clock. And we're limiting those 2 start times to only 3,000 people. And that will give everybody there about 12 square feet of area to social distance.
People can start whenever they want to. They can arrive whenever they want to avoid crowds. As long as you wear a chip, your time will count.
We'll not have a water station. And at the end of the race, where most people would go through a food court and grab a banana and a snack, this year everything will be prepackaged, so they'll grab 1 packet and then be encouraged just to head back home to be with their family.
Stephanie Wade, WRTV.
Well, it costs $39 to participate. You can still sign up, and if you don't feel comfortable running with the crowds, you can also participate virtually. 2,000 people have already signed up to run on their own and still help the homeless this Thanksgiving. To learn more or to sign up, visit drumstickdash.org.
It's a piece of Indianapolis history right in the heart of downtown, a place that has seen its days of bustling customers and downtown workers, and a place that is facing some challenges now. But tonight, the Indianapolis City Market has a new executive director. Keisha Gray just started this week. She takes the helm as merchants continue to face several challenges and businesses inside continue to close. This is video from inside the market around lunchtime today. In addition to reduced foot traffic due to the pandemic and people working from home, businesses in here have also had to deal with things like loitering, crime, and road construction right outside on Market Street. Many businesses have shut down. We asked Gray what she plans to do to help those left make it through.
What we specifically can do is yet to be determined, and especially because each merchant has their own individual needs that will need to be an individual conversation with each of them. So that will play a very important part in how we move forward.
Gray said she will be meeting with individual business owners starting Saturday. We will check back in with her again before the end of the year to learn more about the progress she made.
And just like that, we were tracking the sunset, but now you can see that sun already set here across central Indiana as those daylight hours are continuing to get a little bit shorter for us. Temperature-wise, we're not doing too bad, though. We are holding here in the 40s, 44 degrees right now in Indianapolis, 41 in the Columbus area, and 47 in Lafayette. Look at the warmth that is coming our way here. We've got temperatures in the 60s, fairly widespread from across Nebraska into Kansas City right now at 64. And yes, that is coming our way here. You notice the weather is very quiet. We look off to the northwest. There are some clouds, but no rain associated with those. We do have some breezy conditions, not too bad at this point, out of the south and southeast, around 10 to 15 miles per hour. But tomorrow, starting at 10 a.m., we've got a wind advisory for much of central Indiana, as we're going to see those winds really picking up and could have those gusts topping 40 miles per hour tomorrow. Tonight, about 20 to 30 mile per hour gusts for us. Temperatures will hold in the lower 40s. We'll detail those gusty winds and also talk about the warmth coming our way for Thursday and Friday in a few minutes.
Getting back on track after the pandemic threw everything off. Still ahead, the post-high school opportunity for graduates that's both technical and hands-on.
Plus, there's no stopping this success. Our Brad Brown brings us the story of one college sports department still knocking it out of the park despite the pandemic. Coming up when the news at 6 continues on WRTV.
From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 6, streaming now.
Back before the pandemic, WRTV's Hiring Hoosiers met with several manufacturing company representatives about a great opportunity they had for students after high school. Their plans for a training program had to be put on hold for summer 2020 due to the virus. But we just got word it is back for the summer 2021. It's a new pathway to a fulfilling career. And as our Lauren Casey learned, you can apply right now.
The need for workers in this manufacturing environment is just incredible right now.
Businesses are desperate to find the next generation of skilled workers.
Especially here in the state of Indiana, we being the most manufacturing intensive state in the entire country.
And that's why 5 companies sent representatives to speak to us about an organization they're now part of called INFAME, or Federation of Advanced Manufacturing Education. The chapter's looking for students to be a part of the 2021 cohort, where they'll go to college 2 days a week and work for one of these 5 companies the other 3 days. At the end of a 2-year program, they graduate with a degree as an advanced manufacturing technician, most likely an offer to continue on full-time with their current employer, and if they manage their money, no debt.
It isn't just getting your degree. It isn't just having a career. It is having that lifestyle.
Kendra O'Brien with Major Tool and Machine says students will make a minimum of $16 an hour while getting their degree. And after graduation, they can make in the $20 to $30 an hour range plus overtime. Students who took part in the Southern Indiana chapter say this program is setting them apart.
A lot of hours, but at the end, you get a lot out of it.
Come in wanting to learn and have that initiative.
In the plant, hands-on training is what people want. They want experience.
And your education doesn't have to stop here. Trevor Kipp with Steel Dynamics says most employers will help pay for your continued education, but that the 2-year degree and the on-the-job skills match what they're looking for.
There's 500 people at our facility. 50 of them require 4-year degrees. 450 of them require the skill set that this advanced manufacturing technician program is going to develop.
This career is both technical and hands-on.
This should appeal to anybody that likes to work with their hands, likes to tear into things, figure out how they work.
Mike Griffith, president of Major Tool and Machine, says this is one pathway that industry leaders are providing to promote manufacturing to students, educators, and parents.
We are in the midst of a student debt crisis across the entire country. And so this program is a great way for students to get out of school, start earning money, and get their education and pay for that education while working.
We're starting to see the educational system slowly embrace maybe that there's an alternative to a 4-year degree.
Amy Mancini works for 3M, but she's also a mother to a high school student.
My language has changed. In 4-year degree, you have to get a degree. You have to get something. This program provides that something along with great benefits.
And Lisa Law with Aero Industries has 2 kids of her own.
And I think the most important, at least most attractive for me as a mom, is for the fact that they can come out of this debt-free, which is huge.
And that was WRTV's Lauren Casey reporting. The 2021 cohort is through Vincennes University. You can start there with the application process. The 5 companies you saw represented in the video are now teaming up with a few in Muncie and Anderson for next summer's placements. Ideally, they would like 25 Central Indiana students to be a part of this program. Your student will be placed to work full-time in the summer, then start with classes in the fall 2021. We have this information broken down for you and where your student can apply right now on our website at hiringhoosiers.com. Kyle, it's getting a little bit warmer out there.
Yeah, and we're really going to notice that here over the next couple of days. Most areas right now in the 40s. The exception, Sullivan, you're at 51. It is 10 degrees cooler, though, in Columbus at 41. Same for you in the Richmond area. And as we look at Indianapolis there and that sunset, we've got 44 on the thermometer. Feels a little bit colder than that, though. It does feel like 40 as we've got a southeast wind just under 10 miles per hour. And as we head into tonight, we're going to see those gusts between about 20 and 30 miles per hour for us. This is as we get just beyond midnight tonight. You can see it's that warm southerly direction. As we get into tomorrow, though, that's where we're going to see those wind gusts topping 40 miles per hour here, even as we go into the morning and through the afternoon with some of that sunshine that will be across the area. So it will be a sunny day here once again on Thursday, but we'll have wind chills despite those temperatures in the 40s that will start the day in the middle 30s here. Actual temperatures will continue to climb with that south wind. Temperatures getting to around the lower 60s for an afternoon high. So well above average here, 64 in Bloomington and Muncie, 62 tomorrow afternoon in Noblesville and Kokomo at 63. It's warm, not record setting, and we'll keep those 60-degree temperatures going right on into Friday. Not quite as windy there. Southwest winds around 10 to 15 miles per hour. As we get into the upcoming weekend, that looks to be the next chance for some rain. Once again, the timing isn't great here. We go into Saturday at 7 a.m. You can see some scattered showers here. I don't think it's going to be all that widespread on Saturday. Becomes a little more widespread for us here as we go through the day on Sunday, and then colder air will follow in behind that. As far as the rainfall potential here as we go through our Sunday, generally about 3/4 to an inch of rain here. So it's been a pretty dry month of November. Looks like we'll kind of make some headway here as we go through the upcoming weekend. Again, not a total washout, but certainly the second half of the weekend, the better chance for some rain. High temperatures here looking good on Thursday and Friday. Both days in the 60s with lows in the 40s. And then we'll cool it back down here a little bit heading into the weekend. Saturday's high 53 will be around 55 on Sunday with more scattered showers. And then behind that system, another shot of some cool air. We got highs in the 40s. So temperatures kind of bounce around back and forth here. We're back to 50 degrees on Tuesday, and we get into this more active weather pattern with more scattered showers. Right now, it looks like that would be late in the day on Tuesday into Wednesday. Mark?
Lots to watch there. Thanks, Kyle. The pandemic has changed the college sports landscape in so many ways, but one thing has remained consistent on the Marian University campus: success among its fall sports programs. Our Brad Brown has a closer look.
For the past several years, this midpoint of November would likely have us talking about the success of the Marian football team, perhaps on the brink of another national title. But this fall, the Knights are having to sit and wait.
You got to control what you can control. We have no control over that. So the thing that we can control, again, is, attitude and effort.
The pandemic forced the NAIA to move football to the spring. Marian got in about 5 weeks of practice, then they were done. But some other MU teams have been thriving this fall. The Marian women's soccer and women's volleyball teams have proceeded and succeeded, both climbing into the top 5 of the national rankings. The women's soccer team just finished off a 14-1 season that they capped with a Crossroads League championship.
We had all summer to really talk about our intent to get through the fall season, the discipline, the commitment that we would all have to do to make it through a full season.
It was awesome to even have the chance to play. It was definitely an adjustment, but now that we've all kind of adjusted and figured out what we have to do, we are all just happy to be here and be playing. So I think everyone's just grateful to have the opportunity to play.
The women's volleyball team was all set to defend its 2019 national title. They'll get a chance to do that, but not until April. This fall saw the Knights string together a 12-3 mark.
We're trying to take nothing for granted as we went through those practices, even on the longer practices days.
it was all worth it just because we got to go out there and play when there's a lot of teams that aren't playing.
For them just to be able to be resilient and kind of go with the punches and just to be able to go through everything, I'm just incredibly proud of them and just who they are as young women. Just it shows how successful they're going to be after college.
There were certainly plenty of challenges that came about, not unlike all sports this year, but the opportunity to play has turned out to be worth the effort.
It's been really difficult, I think, to put things in perspective because, you know, I like to compare it to last year, and it's hard to do that because it's a really different situation than last year. So it's a lot harder this year, and I just have to keep reminding myself every day, like, I'm lucky to be here, like, I'm lucky to be playing.
I have never seen a group of girls put in so much extra work, like outside of practice, and I've never seen so many people go through film and just all the additional things that you need to do to be at your best.
As for football, they're hoping for a season to start in February. Cold weather? Certainly, but the work never really stops between now and then.
You know, they're disappointed. They want to be playing football right now, and we're not. You know, but we want to make sure that when we have the opportunity to, you know, we're going to have the opportunity to play again. We got to make sure that when that opportunity comes, that we're ready for it.
Brad Brown, WRTV Sports.
WRTV is looking ahead to the holiday season. Our annual toy drive is now underway. You can drop off new unwrapped gifts at several central Indiana U-Store locations. We will also be collecting donations at Simon Malls in the Indianapolis area on December 5th. You can also make a financial donation online at WRTV.com/toy drive. Kyle.
And don't get blown around too much in the wind here. We do have some gusts to talk about tonight, 20 to 30 miles per hour. Tomorrow, 40 to 50 will be those maximum gusts for us. It does bring in the mild temperatures. Highs will be in the 60s the next couple of days with some rain chances returning for the upcoming weekend. Highs there in the 50s. Another chance for some showers going into next week. As we look at the outlook into early December, though, we should favor above average temperatures. We'll get that new winter outlook tomorrow.
Thanks for making WRTV your choice for news. Join us again for the news at 7. We'll see you then.